You wake up. Not because you're rested, because your brain never actually stopped. You reach for your phone now. In the first 30 seconds, you've already checked your account, seen someone's vacation, felt far behind already. And the day hasn't started yet. You're already exhausted. Most people blame the workload for that very feeling. They think they're tired because they're doing too much. But the exhaustion isn't coming from how hard you work. What if it's coming from how you relate to money? And nobody has ever actually told you that was the problem. Because some of the habits that feel most responsible are the exact habits quietly emptying you out every day. And the worst part, they're completely invisible until you know exactly what to look for. But now you finally will. There's a version of you that opens a banking app 5 times before noon. Not because anything changed at all. Not because there's a decision to make, but because of a feeling, a low-grade hum that never quite goes away. You check, you feel briefly okay, then the hum returns. So you check again. And then once more right after that. This isn't carelessness. This is someone who cares deeply about security, about not being caught off guard ever. But when you compulsively check a number, you're not gaining control. You're actually training your nervous system. You're teaching it to treat uncertainty as danger. Every single check is a tiny hit of dopamine. Then withdrawal. Over time, the threshold rises. 1 check becomes 3. 3 becomes 10. Silence between checks feels threatening. This is the same neural loop behind slot machines. Variable rewards. Compulsive repetition. Manufactured urgency. The person checking their investments 14 times a day isn't deciding better. Just burning more mental energy. Money was supposed to buy peace, not become another source of noise that you're afraid to stop monitoring daily. Have you ever felt guilty for sitting still? Not lazy. Guilty. Like rest is something you have to actually earn. Like the hours you're not producing anything are hours being subtracted from some invisible account that you owe. At some point, a generation was told their worth was tied to their output. That time is money. That idle is waste. And that message got internalized so deeply that people began feeling physically uncomfortable when not producing. The belief, usually unconscious, that if you're not monetizing your time right now, you're already falling behind. So hobbies become side hustles. Rest becomes a reward that has to be justified before you're allowed to take it. Psychologists call it decision fatigue. Every micro-judgment, am I enough? Is this worth it? Costs real energy. The brain that never rests is not more productive. It's a depleted one, making worse decisions on empty fumes. The most effective people in the world protect their stillness deliberately because clarity is a finite resource. And once it's gone, you cannot buy it back. No matter how much you earn while running on empty every single day. This one doesn't feel like a problem. It feels like progress. It feels exactly like success. And that's the trap. You make more money. You upgrade the apartment, the car, the wardrobe. The baseline of normal shifts upward quietly. And then, almost invisibly, you need more just to feel the same level of okay that you felt before the upgrade. Economists call this lifestyle inflation. But what they rarely address is what it slowly does to the mind over time. Because when your standard of living rises with your income, you never actually arrive anywhere that feels enough. There's a man, let's call him Daniel. He earned $40,000 a year in his 20s and wanted $70,000. He reached 70 and wanted 120. He reached 120 and needed more to cover what that life required. At no point did the finish line get closer. The goalpost moved every single time without even one single exception. The psychological term is hedonic adaptation. We return to a baseline of satisfaction, regardless of what we gain. But the pressure of maintaining a higher standard, the fear of falling back, of losing ground, that never adapts. And so you get people earning 5 times what they once earned, still feeling the same quiet financial anxiety inside. Only now it costs far more money just to keep feeling it. The exhaustion stays identical. The price tag does not. If the anxiety is always there anyway, why not at least enjoy the purchase? That's exactly how the logic sounds. You've had a hard week, a difficult conversation, and sometime in the afternoon your thumb finds a checkout page. It works for about 11 minutes. Then the package eventually arrives, and the feeling is already completely gone. Retail therapy isn't a modern invention. It's ancient circuitry. The brain under stress will always seek dopamine. Purchasing, the act itself, not the object, triggers a reward response. Novelty, anticipation, control. Briefly, for a short window, the noise quiets. But the transaction doesn't resolve the feeling. It delays it with interest. Now there's a new balance on a card. A new object sitting in a drawer, reminding you of exactly what happened then. Of the moment you tried to buy your way out of something that was never going to be solved by buying anything. The habit isn't the spending itself. The habit is using external consumption to regulate your internal emotional states. Once you see that cycle clearly, you start to notice how much energy it actually takes to keep running it every time. The last one, and possibly the most corrosive of all 5. You open an app. Someone your age just bought a house. Someone 2 years younger just announced a milestone. Someone from school is posting from a place you've never been, and for a fraction of a second you feel behind. Not in any rational way. Just behind. It hits before thought does. Like you missed a train you didn't know you were supposed to catch, with people you didn't know were ahead of you. Comparison psychology is one of the most well-documented sources of ongoing chronic stress in modern human life, and it's grown exponentially more complex in the age of curated public identity and constant social performance. Because you're not comparing your full life to theirs. You're comparing your interior to their curated exterior. Your doubts and slow days and private fears, measured against their announcement, their milestone, their real. And the brain doesn't distinguish between the two automatically. It just registers. They have it. You don't yet. The result is a life half-lived inside someone else's timeline. Goals set to match a pace absorbed from a feed. Working toward a version of success that was never authentically yours to begin with, and never will feel like it. There's a specific kind of exhaustion in chasing something you don't actually want. Quieter than burnout. Persistent. A low-frequency sense that even if you arrive, it still won't feel like what you always imagined it would feel like. None of this is about money. Not really. It's about what money represents inside the mind at its deepest level. Safety, control, validation, freedom. And how without ever intending to we build entire architectures around those. Checking compulsively because uncertainty feels dangerous. Working without rest because stillness feels irresponsible. Spending to silence the noise. Chasing a standard we didn't choose. Measuring our pace by other people's timelines. These habits don't announce themselves loudly. They just quietly cost you real energy every single day you live them. Real wealth, not the kind measured on a spreadsheet, looks like waking up without feeling mentally hunted daily. It looks like having enough quiet inside your own mind to actually be present inside your own life as it happens, to make decisions from clarity instead of anxiety, to want the things you want because you genuinely want them, not because someone else's timeline told you at what age you were supposed to already want them or already have them. Because some people become richer every year while quietly becoming mentally poorer in every way that matters most. More achievement, less peace, more numbers on a screen, less actual presence inside the life those numbers built. And the habits that lead them there never felt like habits at all. They felt exactly like responsibility, like virtue.